Dear students, now I am going to start Unit 3.1 Immunology. Today I am going to speak about the types of immunity, innate and acquired immunity, and immune system. So every minute we faces challenges of varieties of infective elements in and around. As long as our immune system is running smoothly, we don't notice that immune system is there in our body. Imagine if our immune system stops working, or else it becomes weak, or it cannot fight against aggressive germs, then we get ill. We are living healthy by the virtue of our immune system. It protects the body from harmful substances, germs, and cells that make us ill. See in this cartoon, from a single sneeze, how many microbes we are releasing to the environment. So just imagine we are in the pool or else in the ocean of the disease causing agents, but we don't get diseases. So we have to say thanks to our immune system, it is protecting our body all the time. So how our immune system works, and what exactly immunity? Immunity refers to the resistance offered by the body against all types of foreign particles, microbes, and their toxic products. So here you will see the cartoon. So immune system protecting all the time against disease causing infectious agents that is entering our body. So immunology deals with the study of structure and functions of our immune system. We are able to develop immunity to infections because the relentless work of our immune system. So how our immune system works? Our immune system fight with disease causing pathogens like bacteria, viruses, parasites, fungi, and any foreign particles that enters our body. Our immune system remove them from the body. Our immune system recognize the disease causing agent and neutralize these harmful agents and the substances from our body that is entering all the time. It fights disease causing changes that occurs in our body. It not only protect our body from the disease causing foreign agents, and also there will be some insurgence, or you can see there will be some cancer causing development takes place in our body. Cancer cells are produced in our body, or else some cells are infected with the viruses or the pathogens. So these are the disease causing changes that occur in our body. So immune system fight against this and conquer this. So protect ourselves from all these disease causing changes. So what is the hierarchy of immunity or the body defense? The front line, the first, the whatever the disease causing agents, the front line or first line defense are the barriers and the chemicals. So they are you can see it's a crude type of prevention. It is the first line of defense. You can see the foreign particles or disease causing agents, they cannot enter easily to our body, that is, though there are so many barriers. Then you will find the non-specific immunity. It is actively identify the any foreign particles and removes these unwanted invaders. It is a non-specific one. All the foreign particles are just they are inactivated and removed. Then there will be a specific immune system is there to to remove it is very powerful and it is highly targeted and very specific, but it acts slowly. It takes some time to develop this specific action, and this is a long lasting action because it also remember that particular pathogen for a long duration, so it protects our body from subsequent infections. So immunity, that's why there are two types of immunity that fight against the diseases and disease causing organisms. So innate immunity and acquired immunity. What exactly innate immunity? The immunity which is present at the time of birth is called innate immunity. It is non-specific type of immunity, provides a general defense against harmful germs and substances. Innate immunity is first line of defense against infections or the infectious micro invaders. It provides a quick response to invading pathogens. Innate immunity brought by different types of barriers to the entry of foreign substances into the body. So these barriers are categorized into physical barriers, physiological barriers, cellular barriers, chemical barriers likewise. So physical barriers are the first line of defense, that is the skin. Our skin is very tough. It is coated with the keratin, and it acts as a physical barrier, and it is not allowing the the disease causing or else foreign particles get into our system. Then the mucus coating the epithelial lining that forms the epithelial lining of that is present in your nasal passage and respiratory passages, or else in our gastrointestinal passage, or else urinogenital tract. So all these epithelial lining or mucus coating lining, it is also as a physical barrier. So here you can see the skin acts not allowing the the foreign particles get into our system. The nostril, here there are the hairs are present, and mucous membrane is they are acting as a first line barrier protecting our body against these foreign particles entering our body. Then physiological barriers. So physiological barriers that prevent the microbial growth. So for example, you will find when along with the food, so many microbes get into our stomach. The acidic environment in our stomach, the pH of the stomach, it is going to kill all these or else inactivate all these foreign particles get into our system. So there are antimicrobial lysozyme. It's a enzyme that is present in the saliva and also in the tears, in our ear, the tear drop. The lysozyme enzymatically cleaving the glycosidic linkage of the bacterial cell wall, that is the peptidoglycan, that is the cell wall of the bacteria, get digested by the enzyme that is present in the saliva and the tear. So you will find how exactly lysozyme can able to, this is the cartoon of the bacteria. It it is digesting the bacterial cell wall, thereby protecting the body against all types of microorganisms entering our body. So this is a physiological barrier. So then there is a complement system working in our body. If it get into our system, there are the complement system. There are about more than 30 proteins that act in concert for lysing the microorganisms. So the next line of barrier you will find. So there are a complement system. Then cellular barriers, cellular phagocytosis. So whatever the foreign particle enter our system, immediately WBC, that is leukocytes, they are called monocytes, lymphocytes, and the macrophages that is present in the tissues and the blood, and they bring phagocytosis. You will see the bacteria particle get engulfed by in the form of phagosome and get digested by the action is called phagocytosis. This is the mechanism how generally the leukocytes they inactivate the microorganisms get into the system. This is the non-specific, or else you will find it is the innate immunity. Then one more, you can see the cytokine barrier, or else chemical barrier. So for example, if the virus try to get into the cell, immediately the cell produces the chemicals called interferon. This interferon, it is the antimicrobial peptides which protect non-infected cells, alerting the non-infected cells. So there is a viral infection. So it also increases the body temperature. So whenever there is infection, we initially get the fever. So it increases the body temperature, thereby it tries to alert the immune system. These are the these are the front line of defense, or first line of defense. This is called innate immunity. So another type of immunity, it is called acquired immunity. What exactly acquired immunity, or else it is also called adaptive immunity or specific immunity. Acquired immune system or adaptive immune system takes over when infection get past the first line of defense. If the infections cannot it can takes over, the first line of defense is not able to succeed it, then the next the line of defense is the acquired immunity or adaptive immunity. This line of defense is slower, but compared to the first line of defense, the first line of defense works within a minute or within an hour, but this takes some time. It works slower. The adaptive immunity is antigen specific. It is very specific immunity. Which means that the cells of the adaptive immune system respond to specific molecules on the pathogen. It identifies the specific molecules of the pathogen and work against this, and they succeed on this. Cells of this immune system, it includes T lymphocytes or T cells, or there are so many class of T cells, helper T cells, which activate the B cells or immune system or antibody production. Then cytotoxic T cells, it itself destroy the infected cells. Then regulatory T cells, it control the working of the immune system or immune response. Then another type, you can see B lymphocytes or the B cells. They secrete high amounts of antibodies, IgG, IgA, IgD, IgE, IgM, all this, how they work and all I'm going to discuss later. So just imagine, these are the antibodies are like a missile, like how exactly, if in the defense language, they are like a missiles. They bind and neutralize the foreign particles or the specific microbes. They are disturbing our system. So adaptive immune system starts to work after the innate immune system is activated. So the innate immune system, once activated, it alerts the adaptive immune system to start working. So an infection progresses with the inflammation, fever, natural killer cell and phagocytic activity. All these are the first line of immune actions, So these are the how the body reacts. There will be inflammation in the site of the where the foreign particle get into the system. Then you can see that the body increases the temperature, that there will be fever, the phagocytotic actions. So the body, you can see there will be you can see the feeling of illness. the body gets. So all these are the actions of the innate immunity. When it is cannot succeed, the more coordinated response is required to destroy the pathogen. Now the adaptive immune system come into the picture. The adaptive immune response takes over to conquer the infection. The major function of the adaptive immune system include the recognition of the specific antigen. So unlike to the innate immunity, the adaptive immunity or acquired immunity recognizes these antigens or pathogens. Then it generates the specific response to eliminate these pathogens or pathogen infected cells. The development of immunological memory in which each then not only it conquer the infection, it also remember the signature antibody will circulate in the body and it will recognize quickly and combat quickly whenever in during the subsequent infections. So this is the advantage of the acquired immunity. It will remember for whenever we have a infection of chicken pox, we won't get chicken pox in another time in our lifetime, because it is our immune system will remember it. This is called, you can see the long time lifetime immunity we will get from this for such a type of infections. So basically innate immunity works rapidly. You will find within an hour, within a few hours, you can see. So but the adaptive immunity takes longer days to establish itself, you can see. So these are the players of innate immunity: neutrophils, basophils, eosinophils, monocytes and macrophages, dendritic cells and natural killer cells. All these are the players of the which bring innate immunity. Whereas adaptive immunity are the B cells and T cells. How they bring adaptive immunity, we will I'll going to discuss in my subsequent videos. So it is overview how our acquired immunity and immunity work. So this is, you can see, there are physical barriers, there are blood-borne barriers. Physical barriers we have discussed: the skin, mucous membrane, saliva, then the acid in the stomach. All these are the physical barriers. Then blood-borne barriers are the cells. They are present in the cells. They are phagocytes, neutrophils, basophils, eosinophils, monocytes, natural killer cells. All these they whatever the foreign particles, they engulf and destroy it. So these are the blood-borne phagocytes. Then there is a complement system. They produces 30 and odd types of chemicals. They also inactivate the foreign particles and they succeed they conquer the infection. Then if all these innate immunity fails, then you can see the acquired immunity: T cell immunity and B cell immunity. B cell immunity through the production of antibodies, and how exactly we will discuss later. And the T cell immunity is the cell mediated immunity. It is by producing you can see the cytotoxic chemicals, or else by by killing the infected cells, and how all this work and all we'll discuss later. So our immune system is made out of immune cells, and the immune cells are produced in the organs called lymphoid organs. So it consists of lymphoid organs and immune cells or lymphatic cells. So there are two types of lymphoid organs: the primary lymphoid organs and secondary lymphoid organs. Primary lymphoid organs are the thymus and the bone marrow. Thymus is the gland. It is present in the junction of our heart and the lungs. The bone marrow is the marrow that is present inside the long bones of our body, humerus bones and femur bones. Then the secondary lymphoid organs are the spleen. It is just below the stomach. You will find the spleen. Then the lymph nodes, they spread all over the body: the tonsils, then adenoid lymph nodes in the junction of the thigh region, then lymph nodes all over the spread all over our digestive system, that is especially in the intestine. You can see they are called Peyer's patches. All these forming the you can see secondary lymphoid organs. So what are primary lymphoid organs? Primary lymphoid organs are the thymus. As I said, it is you can see the thymus and bone marrow. These are called primary lymphoid organs. In the case of birds, bone marrow is very minimum. That's why the bone marrow function will be taken by a special gland. You will find it is called bursa fabriceus in the case of birds. Primary lymphoid organs, they produces lymphocytes. Lymphocytes are multiplied, differentiated, and they acquire basic immunological capabilities to function as a immune competence will be acquired in these primary lymphoid organs. Then these lymphocytes are released into the blood, and they get collected and waiting in the secondary lymphoid organs to study the foreign particles or the pathogens get into our immune system. So this is thymus and this is the bone marrow. These are primary lymphoid organ. Thymus is a white bilobed structure just above the heart inside the chest cavity. It contains outer cortex region, this is, and inner medulla region. This is similar to our spleen, okay, and it's a histological structure. So what is the function of this thymus? The cortex of the thymus actively dividing lymphocytes. It produces thymic lymphocytes or T cells. T stands for thymic lymphocytes and T cells. It is also an endocrine gland. It produces hormones, so thymosin, thymopoietin, thymorin. All these are the one, they are bringing the immunocompetence to the lymphocytes. Those are produced here. So this is the function of the primary lymphoid organ, thymus. Then the another primary lymphoid organ is the bone marrow. You will find this is the where you can see the bone marrow lymphocytes. B cells are produced. B lymphocytes are produced. These are the marrow of the long bones, upper arm bones, humerus, and thigh bone. This is the femur bone. So the red marrow is the site of proliferations of the B cells. You will find the blood cells are produced here in this bone marrow. These are hematopoietic cells, or you can see the blood stem cells. From this blood stem cells, all types of blood cells, RBCs, platelets, different types of WBCs, all these are proliferated here in this bone marrow. This is a primary lymphoid organ. Secondary lymphoid organs are the spleens. You will find just below the stomach. Then the Peyer's patches, what you see in the just on the intestine. Then the tonsil, that is located in your the throat region. Then the Peyer's patches on the lungs, intestine. So spleen, tonsil, Peyer's patches present in the intestine, Peyer's patches present in the intestine, lymph nodes spread all over the body. All these are secondary lymphoid organs. They bring a specific immune response followed with an antigenic stimulus or infections. These lymphoid organs functions like they filter the body fluid and antigenic stimulus, and they circulate these T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes to fight against these antigens. So the function of this more about we will study in our next video. So the basic differences between primary lymphoid organs and secondary lymphoid organs. So these are the where the lymphocytes are proliferated or produced, and they going to get matured. So in the secondary lymphoid organs, they get specific immunocompetence in the secondary lymphoid organs, you can see. So they contain T cells and B cells. They contains both T cells and B cells. So The primary lymphoid organs, they don't have contact with the antigens. Secondary lymphoid organs, they filter each and every antigen, and they produce specific antibodies, producing cells for those things and all. So the primary lymphoid organs, they become atrophied or reduced in size as age progresses. They increase in size as age progresses. This is the difference between primary and secondary lymphoid organs. Dear students, so wear mask, protect others and protect yourselves. Thank you.